Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, confused listeners, and people just about to switch off their radios. I'm the presenter of Your Dog's Been Spayed, and welcome to another episode of this convoluted, ongoing saga. Our heroes, having just left the year 1888, have found themselves in a construction site at some point further forward in time than the late 19th century. Have they reached their destination of yesterday? By their personal timeline, of course, I think. Will they be able to move an amendment to the Wellington Witches Welfare League's constitution at the 2012 AGM and make their organisation go public? Both of those questions will be answered right now. No, they have not yet reached the right year, and so cannot move the amendment just yet, although Derrik will never figure this out. By some mad fluke of fate, Derrik gets thrust back to the time at which Wicka and Derrik left 2012 by a conveniently landing cup of tea.
Oh no, Derrik's let go of the cups of tea and one's flying into the air. It's coming down and it's just about to land on Derrik's face. No, don't open your mouth and start screaming, you idiot. You'll travel forwards in time.
You get it, faithful listeners? The tea lands in his mouth, so he travels forward in time, and we don't need to involve him in this episode. Is that clear? Yes? Great, we can get on with the story. So, Wicka finds herself alone in what looks like the construction site of a motorway, and the crane has smashed into the tea table which they arrived in on, by the way. Although, you've probably guessed that.
So, I guess since I'm by myself, I'd better start narrating, huh? Otherwise, you'll do all the work. Oh, wait, one of the construction workers is coming up here.
Oh my god, are you okay? Where's the other guy?
What other guy? I don't know what you're talking about.
The guy you were sitting at that table with, drinking tea. Oh, Jesus, he didn't get crushed by that crane, did he? That table's a mess.
It's okay.
Not another guy dying on site. My boss will give me an earful.
Another guy? I mean, he left. He's okay. He ran off back home.
You sure?
Yes, he's okay.
Yeah, absolutely sure.
Oh, for the teapot's sake, he's fine. Now piss off.
Well, geez, no need to be mean about it. Nah, we're okay, guys. I don't think you've got a chance, Cliff. She's obviously Ow!
That's for being a prick. Now, where am I going? I still have the teapot. It's empty. And the table is definitely... yeah, that isn't going to be used again. So I guess I'll just walk up here, jump over the barrier, and... oh, hello. Hello. What were you doing down there? Oh, I just found myself there. Nearly got hit by a crane as well. It demolished the time machine, and by a strange coincidence, my friend got transported back home as we were jumping out of the way. Okay, I guess that makes sense. I'm Wicka. Pleased to meet you, Wicka. Rita Mackenzie. Oh, gosh, the pleasure's all mine, I assure you. Tell me, Wicka, have you had something to eat? I imagine time travel is pretty hungry work. No, I haven't actually. We just got the tea from Julius and went straight here. Well, we meant to go on further, but it's pretty hit and miss. Well, come back to my place for a bite to eat, and some tea for drinking purposes rather than time travel. I just live down here. You mean the house on the edge of this cliff? Yes, the one about to fall into this absurd construct they're building. I was one of the lucky ones, really. All I lost was my backyard. Hundreds of people lost their houses, and that's not even mentioning the graves which had to be moved. Oh, my unicorn! That's the Wellington Urban Motorway! Well, it soon will be, yes. Jeebus!
And so, Wicka travels back to the precariously balanced house of this strange woman, and they sit down for tea. On every wall are splendid artworks, boats in Island Bay, small hick railway stations, lots of landscapes, and a rather weedy-looking blonde guy with glasses.
Who's that? An ex. Okie dokie. So, tell me, Wicka, why were you time-travelling? It's a very long story, but don't you need to worry about changing history? Ah, that's the second time round paradox, or problem, which was mentioned earlier. What? In an earlier episode, the narrator mentioned the second time round paradox or problem, and it relates to time travel. Oh, is that when you kill yourself in the past, or something similar? Sort of. It actually proves you can't do it. How? Well, Rita, imagine time as a line, right? Now, when you travel back in time, you travel to an earlier part of this line. Okay, I'm following you. So it's not a new line, it's the same line or past which eventually led to your being born or building the motorway in your backyard, whatever. So everything you've done has already happened in the past if you went back in time, correct? Yep, I can see how that works. So you can't change the past because everything you did in the past has already been factored into the event leading up to your present. But I can do whatever I like. Yes, but it's already been factored into the future I come from, and likewise everything I do has been already factored in. But this is only the past for you. For me, it's my present. Yes, but everything's already set. You have the freedom to choose to do things, but you will only ever do the things I already know about. Okay, let me give an example. Your relationship with... what's his face over there? Douglas. Okay, Douglas, at the time it seemed as though you could choose to do things, but you were only ever going to do certain things. It was only ever going to last so long. Why? Because in my case it had already happened. But this means that your life is determined too. No, because I'm from the present. But this is the present for me. The present isn't relative. Wait. Rita, you've set a third place here. Why did you do that?
Ring!
That would be the reason. I really wanted someone else to be here for this just in case things got nasty. Coming, I'll be there in a minute. Just play it cool and we'll be fine. I want to give this man a piece of my mind.
Ring! Ring!
I said I'm coming. Okay, I'm coming now.
Mrs. Angus?
Miss Mackenzie, thank you very much. Rita Mackenzie.
We're looking for a Mrs. Rita Angus.
We're the same person.
Okay. Minister, you're free to come to the door.
I know I'm free to come to the door, Johnson. Why, hello, madam.
We're here to talk, not flirt, Robert.
Right, okay. Should my man wait outside or can he come in?
Does that mean you'd like to come in, Robert?
That's what I'm here for, isn't it? Or were you expecting us to talk over all this construction noise?
Come in, Robert. Your man can come inside too, Mr.
Johnson, ma'am. Agent Johnson.
You didn't need to tell her that, Johnson.
Just being polite, Minister. Sorry, Minister.
Just don't do it again, Johnson.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Robert, please take a seat. May I introduce you to Wicka? She's foreign.
Ugh. So there really aren't any people here, are there?
I don't know what you mean, Robert. Oh my unicorn!
Eh?
Oh my god! I said, oh my god! You're...
Muldoon. Robert Muldoon.
Jeebus.
So, Mrs. Angus.
Miss Mackenzie to you.
Miss Mackenzie. You wanted to discuss the motorway.
Motorway? What motorway? Oh, do you mean the giant hole in my backyard? That motorway? Oh, I barely noticed that motorway. It may as well not exist.
I thought you had a problem with it.
Minister, I think she's being sarcastic.
I'm speaking, Johnson.
I do have a problem with it.
I thought you said you barely noticed it.
Oh, for God's sake! I can't believe someone voted for you. That thing is a hazard and a disgrace. You bulldoze hundreds of houses, dig up a cemetery. 3,000 bodies had to be relocated.
3,700 to be precise.
And what for?
I'll tell you what for, Ducky. This is the capital. It is going to be the economic hub of this country, and so by hell it needs a good motorway. Do you know how many motorways Auckland has? And Wellington is supposed to be the capital. If we're going to compete with the City of Sails, we need a big fucker of a motorway. I'm talking 6 lanes, 2 sets of tunnels, and I really wish we could get the Basin Reserve flyover into the design. Imagine a sweeping channel of concrete.
At the expense of hundreds of homes.
I don't care if it's thousands, Miss Mackenzie. I don't know what you're complaining about. It was going to be even bigger until we had to reassess the budget. You think losing your backyard is bad? Hell, if we had my way, you wouldn't even have a house. We've already had to shelve the plans for a second terrace tunnel, and it looks like the second Mount Vic tunnel won't happen either, so don't go round whining, lady, because you're lucky to be living where you are.
I can really see why so many people hated you.
Who asked you, Pipsqueak? All those renter mobs won't do a damn bit of good. And you want to know why? Because we've got the real people on our side. Real New Zealanders. Middle New Zealanders.
Why did you come here if all you wanted to do was shout at me?
I like shouting. You obviously have no sense of the bigger picture. We've offered you compensation. It was just a little bit of land anyway.
It was my backyard. I used to sit on the steps, smoking, and look at my lavender. Now I sit on my steps, smoking, looking at a cement mixer in a giant dirt hole, not to mention excavating the cemetery. Now that was a really pretty sight. Thanks for that. I want compensation.
You have compensation.
I want double.
Well, you're not getting double, Mrs. Angus. Johnson, I think we're ready to leave.
Right, sir. Good day to you, Miss Mackenzie.
I hate that man. Don't worry, Rita. In 30 years, the entire country will. Thanks. You know, Rita, if you can give me a good box of tea, I can pay him back if you like. Really? Yeah, give me enough to get me to 1984 and then to 2012, and I can do it. Done. How does it work? Well, I have my teapot here. Can you put the kettle on, please?
And so, on June 14th, 1984...
I am so drunk.
Hello?
Hello, sexy.
Robert, you know your problems with Marilyn Waring threatening to jump ship.
Yeah, what about that stupid skirt?
You should call an election. She'll lose her seat, and you can keep New Zealand pro-nuclear.
Brilliant idea! Neville, get the press on the phone at once. I've got an important announcement.
Now, off to 2012.
What was that?
Back home, 2012. Hell! I forgot to go to yesterday's AGM to move the amendments.
So, ladies and gentlemen, a somewhat disappointing conclusion, or just an anticlimax. They're all the rage these days. Or ironic climaxes, which are well aware of the conventional role they are playing within the story. Either way, the requested historical figures were featured, such as the construction worker and the backbench unnamed misogynistic MP accompanying King Dick Seddon. Either way, we fulfilled our end of the bargain, and we hope that you did too by laughing at the appropriate points. Thank you very much for another successful tangent. The next show, one would think, will be smaller, and in many ways it will be. There will be a cast of hundreds, but it will be set in present-day Wellington, so it will be ever so slightly easier to fake. We will be catching up on what Clive's been doing and how Clucky and Morning have been coming along. With their nuptials soon approaching, this show may get a little preachy on the gay marriage issue. Fortunately, or is that unfortunately, the bill doesn't cover self-identifying hens and gay human male marriage, so the issue is slightly cloudy. In a very murky, hard-to-understand, and possibly offensive way. As you know, we'll be back again next week. I, Alex Grieg, played the narrator once again. The parts of Wicka and Rita Mackenzie were played by Cordelia Ann Black. Robert Muldoon was voiced by Francis Homer. As always, James Barber wrote it, and this time played the construction worker. Thanks once again, and have a lovely time of day.
So we got a date for this? We got a date, the 14th of July, which we've worked out at Government House as being the appropriate date.
That doesn't give you much time to run up to an election, Prime Minister.
Doesn't give my opponents much time to run up to an election, does it?